Hey guys, Darren Johnson Customs LLC. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do some body work on a door. Anyways, if you're looking to do body work on like a collision repair type of panel, this might not be the right video. This is for your standard hot rod application where the panel needs to be perfectly straight. Anyways, if you want to watch me do a burnout in this car, click on a link here. Okay, the first thing you want to do is feel your panel over and get a pretty good idea of where you're wanting to do body work. After that, you're going to want to clean the metal. Make sure that your filler sticks, and that is a very important step. I felt the door over. Most of the body work is going to be in this lower area here, a little bit here, and a little bit here where we molded up some holes for the mirrors. I like to prep the metal starting off with some 180 grit on the DA. After that, I'll Scotch-Brite it. Okay, now I'm going to use this metal cleaner here. I can't exactly tell you what it is, but anyways, do some research and get some metal cleaner. Wipe off the panel a little bit. The reason for using a metal cleaner is to clean the oils off your panel from when you touch it with your hands. Those oils can cause corrosion problems underneath your body filler, which later on can cause paint failure. The harder you put in your filler might depend on the air temperature of the place you are working at. And how you mix it can be important, to help not get too many, let's see, what are those things called? Bubbles. Something I like to do is just get most of it on there and then go back and really try to smooth things out. You gotta work kind of fast. You don't want to set it up on you halfway through spreading it. That'll definitely make your work look like poop while you're working on it. Once you're happy with how it's spread on there for your first veneer, it's a good time to either do something else, or like me, I like to call my best friend Trevor. Oh, hey T-Bear. Yep, wait for Bondo to dry. Okay, so something I like to do is not let this dry all the way. That makes it even harder to sand. Wait till it gets pretty dry, maybe a little sticky feeling still. That's something you'll have to just learn by trial and error. I'm going to start off using 36 grit sandpaper. So most of it I can tell that it's ready because it's dry, but I can still make a fingerprint in it, which to me means it's close enough. So there's lots of things to learn when you're doing body work. For one, you don't want to push too hard. You also want to do kind of more of a crosshatch motion, both directions. Helps the panel be straighter not only this way, but this way. Okay, so when you're blocking, when you're doing that crosshatch that I was talking about, if you go more lengthwise with it and minor cross, that helps make a panel straighter long ways versus if you're doing something more like a hood, you'd go at more of a 45 back and forth and kind of just mix it up a little bit and get it straight all directions. Okay, so now that you've sanded the first layer off, you can pretty much see where the lowest parts are because the sandpaper hasn't touched them. Yeah, and when you're blocking on something like that, if you keep trying to sand that out, your metal's harder than your filler is, so it's not going to really do you any good. It's just going to still always be low right there. I'm going to take a piece of 80 grit sandpaper, scuff those areas back up, and re-smear this area. Huh? You don't want it over what? Under what? Also, if you didn't worry about it too much in your first smear, second smear is where you want to start working on making sure you got filler on your style line if you're working on a panel that's got a style line. And a good helpful tip is your sanding block, when you're sanding your filler before it's all the way dry, it's going to clog up your paper quite a bit. I use this little wire brush, knock all that junk out of there. Piece of sandpaper is as good as new. And don't use a greasy wire brush. That's definitely not a good idea. I'm going to start working on my style line and hook my tape here. I'm going to go ahead and just run the edge of the tape right on the edge of the line. So I got this nice rounded block here. It sometimes can work good for this stuff. I'm going to try her out. Once you feel like it's probably close enough to being good enough, you can go ahead and peel that tape up. I'm going to work on the lower part of the style line now. Another useful tip is using a nice long straight edge. Going off the other door for this car, I know that across the top it is actually fairly straight. And that at least lets you know if you've got maybe a high spot out in the middle of your panel to where this might rock around on it, which wouldn't be right. And I know the style line on this door should be straight, which I really can't see any light under it, so it must be pretty close. Okay, basically when you're blocking it out, it should look more like this, where you can tell it's feathered out nicely. That probably means you have a better chance of it actually being straight. Versus these areas right here, these are kind of poopy areas, a little bit high there. So I'm having an issue here where the metal's too high here, and I can tell by feeling it. My pick hammer works pretty good to kind of tap around the outer edge of it to kind of get that area just down a little bit. There's no sense in trying to fight it. I mean, you could keep putting filler all around it and build everything else to it. To me, that's not the right way to do it. Okay, so you got your door roughed out now with your 40 grit, 36 grit, something like that. Time to basically 80 grit to get that stuff feathered out a little bit better. Pretty good. Okay, helpful tip. Maybe look over your whole panel, the back sides of it or any other areas that might show. The back of this door, it's got some silly little dings in here. Okay, you might notice my core masking job. That is something I'm not too worried about, considering the primer I use has whoop-de-doo. The primer I use doesn't overspray that much, so it's not really a big deal. Hey guys, the primer I'm using is Jack's Metal. Look into whatever you're using to make sure that's the case, or if it's not, you're going to have to proxy it or mesh primer or something like that. Do your research, make sure you get the right stuff. Okay, so the door's all done being primed, turned out pretty good. I got 3 coats on that. Depending on how your bodywork turns out, well, that can definitely vary. I'm going to be sanding it out tomorrow, getting ready for paint. You can click on a link right here, somewhere, right here, right here, here.
Hey, you goobers. Well, my brother Darren doesn't really like cleaning his paint gun, and he doesn't really like talking on camera, and he's really not that good at it. If you haven't noticed, you can watch our video talking fail. I'll put it over here. And anyways, I'll just go ahead and say it. Please subscribe, like us on Facebook, we'll leave a link in the description.